Let's start with the big story that we are tracking at this hour, where at least about 30 Syrian army troops and the Iranian-backed militiaman reportedly have been killed in a so-called Islamic State attack near Palmyra. The Islamic State fighters reportedly attacked a military outpost near Palmyra in eastern Syria. The attack just came a day after the government forces had driven the jihadists out of their last enclave in southern Damascus. The Islamic State has twice seized Palmyra during Syria's civil war and has also destroyed priceless artifacts. Now, residents have said that the militants used suicide bombers and also armored vehicles in the early dawn attack near a dam in the southeast of the ancient Roman city of Palmyra. And also in what comes as a significant victory for the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, the country's capital Damascus has been freed from the control of the so-called Islamic State. The troops cleared the remaining pockets under the group's control in southern Damascus, and for the first time since the war began, Syria's control is now under Bashar al-Assad. The WION's West Asia Bureau Chief Daniel Pagani brings you more.
It took the Syrian army weeks of intense fighting to defeat Islamic State fighters in southern Damascus. The area had been under ISIS control since 2015. The Syrian government said that on April 18th, government troops launched an offensive to retake the Al-Hajar al-Aswad district and the adjacent Palestinian refugee camps of Yarmouk.
During the last period, we surrounded the local extremists and the circle became very small as we were closing in. The combat with extremists became very short-ranged and we eventually neutralized them.
A brief ceasefire was announced on Sunday to allow women, children and elders to leave the conflict zone. The offensive took a heavy toll on Damascus' southern neighborhoods, which have widely been destroyed by artillery and airstrikes from both sides. The government says it will be a while before civilians are allowed to return. The army is combing the streets to defuse hidden explosive devices and track snipers. With the capital Damascus completely free from the ISIS control, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad is now in the strongest position since the beginning of the Syrian war. The defeat in Damascus leaves the Islamic State only in control of small pockets in the desert surrounding Deir ez-Zor on the border with Iraq. There are reports Islamic State fighters and their families are vacating their houses in the border region with Iraq. Syrian Observatory for Human Rights also claim Islamic State terrorists are destroying their arsenal before leaving. The US-led coalition force is said to be aware of the evacuation being carried out near Yarmouk and South Damascus and is monitoring the situation. The Arab Kurds Syrian Democratic Forces, with tacit support from the United States, have recently started a campaign to clear the eastern Syrian desert from the Islamic State.
Retaking control of the urban and suburban territory of the capital city is certainly a huge military success, but the Syrian government still lacks a presence and control over many territories within the country. In the northern part of Syria, Kurds are in control. In the eastern part of the Islamic State still has pockets of resistance, and the enormous province of Idlib, where control. So it will take time before the Syrian government will eventually rejoice for a total victory. Daniele Pagani from Amman, Jordan, for WION.